17th February 2019. So I kissed Brent goodbye. A week after we went to the funeral for Brent and celebrated his life. We all got together to remember all the different cousins. There was 10 of us, 9 boys and 1 girl. Now there are 8 boys and 1 girl. It's quite a long legacy. He and I had been friends as long as I've been around. He's 9 months older than me, 1 grade ahead. Everything he did, I would follow. And he and I were together all the time, over at each other's houses, sleeping over, playing games, getting in trouble. We would do things at his house, throw things on the roof, and fill in holes and cracks in the sidewalk. We would play football as the cousins together. He played the trumpet, I played the trumpet. He played football, I played football. Everything he did, I wanted to do. He talked to me about the different work he would do. I was interested in working like that as well. He was a salesman, and those types of jobs I was interested because he did, but I couldn't do them. He was also my fashion consultant. When I would get to church on Wednesday nights, he would quickly usher me into the bathroom, whip his comb out of his back pocket, and part my hair just right and feather it back. And then he would look at my pants, and he would cuff them up just the right amount. Then I'd be presentable to go out in public. He taught me how to walk, how to stand up straight. He was the best dressed in high school. Whenever we were together, he had to win. We would play Risk a lot. He loved Risk, and he always won. We would box, we'd wrestle, we'd run, and he would always win. I didn't mind. I just wanted to be with him. He was a great friend. I liked being with Brent, and I didn't care that he won. I was okay with that. Which probably made the friendship work really well, because he could win every time. When I was reminiscing at his funeral, Stephen was reminding me of some of the other things about Brent. If Brent wasn't winning, he let you know. He would get quite angry. He would yell, he'd stomp, he'd throw things. And it was not a pleasant scene to watch. And as I look back, I was remembering that and wondering if that memory would be stolen from me as far as the good times of Brent. Steve then went on to remember that Brent and his family would go out and visit Boston, where Steve is right now. And Steve was pleasantly surprised that Brent had grown up quite a bit, and he became a very fabulous biblical father. And so Steve was very pleasantly surprised. Brent was a strong man, about my height, a little bit heavier, but strong. Eventually he owned his own pumping business, where he would pump out sewers and septic systems. And I almost, to the point of loving him, went and joined him, because I thought whatever he did was awesome, and I could see myself doing that with him. He developed cancer a couple of years ago, prostate cancer, and it was a pretty aggressive cancer. With his wishing to win at all costs, not at all costs, but to win, he wanted to win this, and he fought very, very hard. He worked with his doctors, became mad at his doctors because they couldn't fix it. He went off the grid. He went natural. He ate watermelon. He ate greens. He jumped on the trampoline. He did some very interesting things. During that time, whenever we would talk, he would tell me what he was doing. I don't think he ever really asked my opinion. He never really did. He was a very good giver of things. And so I listened. I would talk with him. He'd be angry, he'd be frustrated, and he mainly just needed me to listen. And I did that. I was there for him. Towards a week before he died, he was in a pain crisis and was back at the hospital. His physicians had watched him get thinner and realizing that he wasn't going to win this. And at that time, he either elected or was asked to go hospice, and he agreed. By the time he got to the hospice house, he was pretty much unresponsive. He was not able to talk, couldn't eat or drink, and was not breathing very well. He was expected not to live more than a day or so. I was in St. Louis, or am in St. Louis at this time, and wanted desperately to go see him before he died. But this was Monday when he got to the hospice house, and I couldn't get up there till Friday night or Saturday. And I knew I'd miss him. Friday came around and he was still alive. Still not eating or drinking. Still about the same. And I went up there, still knowing that I'd miss him. We got to the hospice house, or got to Minneapolis. I picked up my wife. We went to the hospice house and met Jan at the door about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. She was exhausted. She was tired. She expressed that she couldn't go on anymore like this. And I hate to say it, but he needed to die. And he couldn't. We got to the room. We visited. I talked to Brent. Looked at some of the cards he had. Now, Brent was, as we were growing up, wasn't very affectionate. As I left Minnesota to go do my career, I would come back and visit. And I learned that an affectionate kiss was something that I could give. And it was usually a kiss on the cheek. I did that to my dad, and I did that to Brent. The first few times I did that to Brent, he was really taken quite aback by that. I wasn't quite sure how to receive that. After we had done that for several years, he became quite expectant and receptive, and I really enjoyed that, I think. On his deathbed, I bent over and kissed him on the cheek and said, "Brent, it's okay. You can go. You can go." About an hour later, he died. His wife was there, his 4 kids were there. After he died, I called his dad and a brother, and they came as well. I like to think he was waiting for me. I'm never really sure how much he loved me or cared for me. I know that I adored him. I worshipped the ground he walked on. And I think he loved me as well. I know he did. And as I think about his winning style, he always had to win at everything he did. And I can see that he won with his family as well. His wife Jan is well set as far as financially. He planned well, had a new house built that was paid for, and no yard work, so she was set. The 4 kids are fantastic, wonderful kids. And I watched how he taught them, he coached them at their different events as far as football or basketball, and how he taught that winning, loving attitude, that sport was a thing to learn, and didn't matter whether you won or lost, but as long as you learned the game and enjoyed it and was fair and loving, that's what he taught. So he didn't teach the stomping, he didn't teach the angry, but he taught the love part of playing the game and part of winning as well. And I appreciate that he loved me and he allowed me to give him that final kiss goodbye. I miss you, Brent. Thanks for being there for me.